Vlog there. So today we're going to be talking about our trip to Batumi. Do you know, almost missed our train. We almost missed our train to Batumi. Like, guys, it was really funny. It was not funny, as it was funny, but it was not funny on that very day when we are going to Batumi. So this was a trip that we've been planning for like 2 months. Hobby was like busy, had a couple of exams or so to do in June, July, right? So August, his birthday was in August, and then he passed that exam. So it was the trip to Batumi was like a time to like celebrate and refresh. Batumi is like the part of Georgia that has beach, many fun activities. Batumi is more like the Las Vegas of Georgia because there's like casino, all those flashy high-rise buildings, all those kind of buildings that you'd see in cities of Middle East, maybe Dubai and all that, and all these buildings that are colorful, that when it's night, everywhere is just bright and shiny and all that. So that's Batumi for you. At least that's the part of Batumi we were seeing on YouTube, online and all that. So we just wanted to have that experience. So that was how we booked. We had to book. So we realized that we had to book our tickets 2 weeks ahead. So the trip was supposed to be like on the first week or second week of August. But when we realized that there are no available tickets on those like first week, by the time we were checking for it, so we had to move it backwards. So just ensure whenever I want to book for the tickets, train tickets in Tbilisi, you just know you have to book ahead 2 or 3 weeks ahead of the time, the day you really want to go. So that's how it works. So what happened on a particular day we wanted to go? We almost missed our train. Like this one is not 5 minutes or last minute. So what happened? So things like our luggage, the luggages, the bags we wanted to use, the luggage we wanted to use, right? Like two of them lost two tires. So we had to, the last trip we had, we lost the tires. So during this one, we are now planning for this trip. We knew that we had to repair them, right? Instead of buying a new one, we just knew we had to replace the tires. So I was reminding him, let us repair this, let us go to shop for clothes before, as in before the date, before the week we are going to travel. I just like doing things way ahead. But after talking for so while, I just left him. So that was how the day before the day we wanted to, we had to take the trip. That was when he now said, okay, let's go and repair the bags. Let's go and shop for the items needed. Me, I was like, okay, I'll just, when you've been talking ahead and the person is still busy doing other things, and you too, so we also had things to do. So I just conserved my energy. And that was how the day before, that was when we went to shop for things. And when you're doing all this last minute shopping, most times you might not see what you want, or it might not fit, it might not work in accordance to your plan or your conditions, right? For instance, we eventually found a place where we can replace the tires of the luggage, but they told us to come back the next day. Mind you, our trip was the next day. So we are like saying, okay, thankfully our trip is by 5 p.m. So he said he was going to pick it up by 12 noon. But guess what? That next day, he came back home with the luggages around 2 p.m. Imagine someone like me, I would have packed everything inside the bags before the day, like the day before. But see, everything had to be done last minute that day. I had cooked soup, stew, cooked jollof rice the day before. So everything was just last minute. For someone like me, I was supposed to pack all these clothes, shoes, everything the day before. Then the last day will now be for packing foods, right? Foods that are frozen, the soups are frozen in the freezer to pack them and all that. But because of the last minute of everything, I had to do everything on that particular day. That is how around 3 p.m. everybody getting the children dressed up, packing all the things. That's how Hobby said. Hubby said he wanted to order for another soup. Mind they had cooked soup, but we had one soup, we had stew, we also had jollof rice. The ones that are frozen that would take to Batumi. So the 6 hour train trip. So we knew that we could do that, right? That was how around 3:30 he said he wanted to book soup from African restaurants because the plan was that we were going to eat our own food. At least every day we'll be able to eat our own cooked food wherever we stay. So we felt that okay, going with rice, our own swallow, and our stew, our soup, all these things would do us for the 7 days we are going to stay. That was our last minute 3:30. He said he also wanted to book extra soup from the restaurant. He just wanted variety, he wanted to be sure that we had enough. The way that delivery app works is that you can only use that app. You can only use that app. There are two, Wolts and Global. You can use them for stores, restaurants, and supermarkets or pharmacies around you within a particular radius of maybe 10 kilometers or so. But this African restaurant is like way beyond that radius of kilometer that app works with. So meaning that if you still want something from a store or a restaurant that's beyond that, it means you have to use all these taxes you book them and send the taxi man to the particular store where you want him to pick up something for you. So that's how we do it for that African restaurant. So I knew the process. I knew it was not straightforward. That's how he was calling taxi, asking them, calling the restaurant, have you seen the taxi? Have you done this? Have you that's how they are doing, Before he knew it, it was like 4:20 or 4:30. And the journey to the train station was like 25 minutes or so, depending on the traffic situation, right? That was I told him that see the time away. That was when he said, let me leave this guy. These guys have wasted my time. He left those ones. They were still even calling him. He just left them, booked taxi to the train station. We told the taxi man that see you, we have a train to catch by 5 p.m. The taxi man thankfully was a sensible man. So the man was just helping us, like he was just being fast, taking the right route and trying to be fast. So we'll catch up with our train. That was how we got to the station at the last minute. Like it was already like 5 p.m. That was when we got to the train station. But there was still like a bit of challenge because you know how you have luggages and we had big luggages with the kids, two kids. So moving the luggages from where the taxi stopped us to the train itself was not an issue. So we are like trying to be fast. We are like there's a bus park there, so there are some men there. So we wanted to know if they also help people carry their luggage. So we are telling them that they should help us and all that. They are just reluctant. They didn't want to answer. One called an exorbitant amount. So that's how we were there. We didn't know what to do. Like we are just trying to hurry up. We are so you know how a train station can be. It can be quite large. Like from the building, the station itself. That's the building, and then like the rail track where the train is going to be leaving from. So it was really difficult, like moving from that particular place to the train itself because we had like two huge luggages and then smaller bags we had, right? With two kids. We just had like less than 60 seconds, more like less than a minute to get to the train itself where they were boarding passengers. So the taxi man, God bless that man, the taxi man saw our predicament, like he saw the issue, the challenge that we had. So he left his taxi and then helped us carry one bag. So Hubby had the bigger one, he had the other, the medium sized one. We are both heavy, mind you. So we are hurrying up. The taxi was even the one in front of us. And then I was holding my daughter, carrying my son on one hand, carrying the small bag, and yeah, that running. Went down. As in, you go through the building. So there's at some point you are going up the stairs, at another point you're going down the stairs, and that's how we ran. When we got to the railway, the first one I checked said no, that one was going to Poti. We left that one, ran back. We had to cross the railway. You know, you can't at the way it is, you can't like cross the railway from the top. You have to go underground. So went down the stairs, crossed the railway from the rail tracks rather from under, climbed up again, and ran to the one that was going to Batumi. Guys, the train was already like full, like it was already giving that signal that it was about to leave. Everybody had boarded the train. The train attendant was just at the door. She was already waving, I think to the white flag as in giving the signal to the driver that okay, he can move or something like that. That was when myself and the driver and the kids. Oh, I felt bad for them, like because I was just driving, I was carrying my son and I carrying my daughter. Like at least she's stronger and can run and all that. So the taxi man was already in front of me. That was when I just made noise, just alerted them that see, we are coming and all that. The lady now looked and saw us and said, passports, that where is our passport? Where is our passport? You know, when if a foreigner, if you do not have your resident card, my husband has his resident card, but he was at the back, he was still coming. Me that had my passport, like we are just household, like to start looking for my passport and all that. Thankfully, my phone was with me and I had pictures of our tickets. Like my husband had sent it to me on WhatsApp. So they asked me, I was ready. You know, when you've been running in the last minutes and you're just breathing hard, everything, and you're trying to make sure they allow you to board the train. So I just quickly opened my phone, showed them then pictures of our tickets. Saying they were checking the manifest. They said, okay, they called the name Okonkwo and all that. So yes. Picture, they looked at it, and I said we should enter. What a huge relief. The taxi just left her. The taxi man left her bag and said, I thanked him so much. Like, thank you very much. That's how they allowed us to enter the train. Once we entered, they closed the door. The train started moving. So we were like, what happened to us was so funny. Mind you, I had the intention of doing a video when we'll be boarding the train and everything. All those ones are just trashed. They're like that plan was just out of the way. Like, do you know what happened to us? Like when we now got into the train, the attendants were telling us, let's take our, we should take our luggage out of the way. We said yes. We sat down there catching our breath. Yeah, catching our breath for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes or so. We're catching our breath. We are laughing that we are making noise, really. Seriously, we are making noise. We didn't even care, like we didn't care. We are just like thankful that we are not left behind. Guys. And this brings me to one point. Like when I was going to make this video, And I thought about that moment. I was like, this is how it's going to be like on the last day, like due to one thing, a distraction, or as in it's like a message that ministered to me. May God have mercy on us and give us the grace with Holy Spirit in us to help us to be conscious at all times, to know when something is a distraction and to desist from it, not to fall into temptation or to be distracted. I don't know. Because it was messy. It was messy. Like if that we took the wrong taxi, if that we entered a taxi that was, because sometimes some taxi men can be really crazy, like taxi drivers can be crazy. Like this one is a norm everywhere. It's not just a thing here. It's normal. That sometimes you book a taxi and the taxi man is friendly. There are other times when the man doesn't care, indifferent, or some other ones that are just outrightly rude and all that. So thankfully, this time the man was a sensible man, and that was what helped us. If there was someone that didn't want to help us and just drove off, and the people at that park, the bus park, didn't want to help us, and we are the ones dragging it out, so we wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have made it because we were left with two big bags, and Hubby wouldn't be able to like carry all of them fast. No way, we wouldn't have made it. So just mercy. God just helped us. So that was just the lesson I learned. That see, this life in this the race to getting to heaven, you need to be alert and know when something is a distraction. There's a goal. We all want to get to heaven, right? And sometimes the devil might just bring temptations or distractions to like take our mind from what is before us. And might want to like divert our attention so that we'll lose a the opportunity to get to heaven. It's not aside from that, aside from getting to heaven, even in real life, in reality, like this race to heaven, it actually happens on a daily basis. There are times when we have, as in there are certain tests that have been placed in our way. Most times, before you get a testimony, there's usually a test. So there are times when we fail tests because we allowed something to like distract us. Maybe there was a breakthrough ahead of us, and then the day before we got into argument, we started quarreling with somebody close to us, or we I don't know. It's just this is from a testimony or as in a process that God has like shown me mercy, and I've now come to understand what it actually means. When the enemy knows that you're about to go into a higher level, you're about to enter into a testimony, a breakthrough, or promotion, he usually brings temptation just before that time. Why does he do that? To distract us, to get us angry, so that we'll be in like the wrong position to now walk into that promotion or breakthrough and all that. That's what happens most of the time. So this is just, I'll use this as an opportunity to tell us that see, in the last days we need to be spiritually sensitive and be ready, alert at all times to have the understanding of what is a distraction. Like now, how it comes to me these days is that most times when I sense in the spirit that okay, something is about to happen, I need to be sensitive. I need to be in the position to like walk into that breakthrough or testimony. That sometimes when I've now noticed that in that season, temptations can arise to get angry, to say the wrong thing, to act the wrong way. So that sometimes when I've just come to that point where I just realize that oh, this is the temptation. I'll just be like, devil, get out. It's not going to work. And I'll just brush that one aside and maintain that stance of being joyful, being happy, being thankful. Do you understand? I hope we get the point I'm trying to bring out from all this scenario. In order not to make this video long, it's going to be the next video. I'm going to first of all post like the few first days clips from the train. So that was our trip. That was how we boarded our train to Batumi. Have to say hi. No, wow, so beautiful. So beautiful. Sit down. Choo choo. should be a cargo train. This is a cargo train. It's carrying like petrol. I think from Kazakhstan or something. It's my camera. There's a difference. Kasku, where are you going to?